It's time for ACC Central, presented by Just Means Less.
I drive into right. It's enough. It's back. And it's gone for the cycle. It's a walk-off grand slam. Florida State wins it.
Hosted by Monty Taylor.
In the air, center field. Moore is under it. And on to Omaha for the Cardinals.
Micah Butel.
Fly ball driven into left field. Spin. Does he do it? He does. A walk-off homer by Ken Schmidt.
And Nick Dioli.
Gets it down. Here comes Mac. He is safe. And Boston College wins.
This ball off the plate for 2 balls, 2 strikes. Monty just got landed on.
There are 2 pigeons roosting right above me, and my can of Pepsi.
Smacked into right field. And
Welcome back, college baseball fans, to another episode of ACC Central. Micah is back from his quest, although from what I understand, his quest was unsuccessful. The question remains for both SMU baseball and Cotton Eye Joe, where did it come from? Where did it go? Micah's search continues. Micah, thank you so much for coming back on the show. We've missed you, buddy. It was just me and Nick on Monday. Today it's just me and you because Nick is dealing with some family things. Micah, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay, Monty. You know, there's better days, there's worse days. You know, everyone's got good days, everyone's got bad days. But no, it's funny. Monday when I was in Dallas, I was like, man, I'm kind of bummed I'm missing the show. And I was like, you know what? Let's go down a rabbit hole of SMU baseball history. And then I discovered SMU's baseball stadium still exists. Well, the one they had when they shut down the program, they played on campus where the soccer stadium was for the longest of times. But the last 4 years of the program, they played at the place that I went to. So that was cool to get to see that and kind of get a little bit of a vision of where SMU called home. By the way, it was like 15, 20 minutes from campus and in traffic, probably even more. So That's brutal. But yeah, no, that was cool to do that. And obviously happy to be back on the show. Big weekend in ACC play. It's funny to me. I'll be at the Texas and Texas A&M game on Friday. Obviously, it's Schloss's return. And selfishly, I kind of feel like that's not the biggest game in college baseball this weekend. I think you're going to be at the biggest game in college baseball this weekend in good old Midtown. Midtown, is what they call it? Midtown Atlanta?
Yeah, Midtown Atlanta. Yep. The only reason I know that is because when Colin does his intro, he's very clear on the Midtown Atlanta part.
Yeah, so that's going to be. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to be at the return of Schlossnagle to College Station, but I'd almost swap places with you, Monty. I'd love to be in Atlanta for BC. Geez, the BC hat threw me off. Florida State, Georgia Tech.
Just got bird ball chilling.
I knew you were wearing a Florida State shirt, but then I saw the same colors, right? I'm like,
yeah, the same colors.
Florida State and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I just wanted to have bird ball in the background. They're in the Bean Pot Championship next week, by the way. When I last checked, Northeastern was up 4-1 on Harvard with 1 out to go. So I imagine it's Northeastern going for their 3rd straight Bean Pot against Boston College at Fenway on Tuesday, I believe. So BC bird ball gets to play at Fenway twice in about 5 days or so, because they're playing Virginia Tech this weekend. But yeah, the Rams
4-1 against Harvard.
Okay, so I was going to say, you never know with college baseball.
Even though Harvard out-hit them. Northeastern had 3 hits.
Jeez. I didn't even look at the stats. I just saw the final score or the score and then was assuming it was about to go final. But yeah, I'm going to be at the Ramsey Bowl as James Ramsey gets to face the club where he became a program legend as a player of the year, team captain, major record holder under Mike Martin. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a top 5 matchup if you're looking at the D1 rankings. I imagine it's a top 5 in several other places. It's close to top 5 in other places. Obviously, I really wanted this matchup last year because of the Lodis cousins, but sometimes you have to wait to make it worth it. And they got the big guns coming in on the broadcast. Mike Farron is going to be doing the play-by-play, which is, I think him and Mike Monaco are probably the two premier college baseball play-by-play guys. Going to be exciting. I honestly can't wait. It's a Thursday through Saturday. So you got is Texas Thursday or is it Friday?
Friday.
Okay, I can't remember which. I don't know which
OU
SEC.
and Vandy's the Thursday series.
So nice of the SEC to kind of give us a little bit lesser of a matchup. I know Vandy's been up and down. Oklahoma's been up and down, but nice of them not to have Texas and Texas A&M competing in the in the Ramsey Bowl spot. So they're going to be one of 3 games or 4 games on Thursday night, because I know the Big 12 also does a Thursday through Saturday series. It's going to be.
Yeah, I'll be at that Thursday series. It'll be, but it's because it's BYU. They always play on Sunday, or they don't play on.
That's
Sunday.
That's what it is.
But
even when they're on the road, they don't play on Sunday.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was part of the deal. Which, I mean, good on the Big 12, honestly.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, I actually made the joke with Oklahoma's SID when I saw them on Monday at DBU that I asked if they were a Mormon school because this is their 3rd Thursday. They're playing in an SEC play in 5 weekends. I was like, you guys are you guys like low key, like not allowed to play on Sundays? You Chick-fil-A, but
all three games are sold out now.
yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. That's so
Saturday.
cool.
Saturday was sold out 10 days in advance, because I remember I showed up at UVA Florida State and was like, "Hey, Charlie and Lou Allen, who is the radio guy in the SID," I was like, "Sold out Saturday." And they're like, "Already?" I'm like, "Eh." So Thursday, Friday sold out as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. The pitching matchups are enticing. I know I just tweeted about it. Tate McKee versus Wes Mendez is obviously the headliner, but Bryson Moore versus Jackson Blakely on Saturday, which is going to determine the series, whether it's a rubber match or a sweep salvage situation. Those two pitchers are going to be, duking it out, and
They're
arguably
keeping Mendez and McKee for game 1. They're
Yep.
pitching them Thursday. I just didn't know if they're some of these teams, have been keeping rest days and then having.
I double checked before I got excited, because I got burned. Remember, I got excited about.
That's why I was like, is it
Riddell.
you said starting, so I was like, I'm assuming that means Thursday, but I just wanted to make sure.
It is Thursday, and then Friday will be Beard versus Berzema, and then
honestly, that's the one I think I'm most excited about. The way Berzema looks as of late, be fun.
So it's going to be interesting if he can get stretched out a little bit more. That might be the one where Patel comes in and gives them some length. But Georgia Tech pitching over the last couple of weeks, since we were worried about them, has been, I believe, the best in the Power 4 over their 9-game winning streak, and second in the NCAA, which is bonkers. I've mentioned their pitching is streaky, so you can get a really good Georgia Tech pitching staff, but the problem with streaky is you could also get what we saw, at Pitt. Micah, what are your thoughts here on this series? I mean, Florida State responded really well. I think the toughest weekend for them was going to be that Charlottesville trip without Miles Bailey, trying to figure that out. But Hunter Carnes had a 6-for-12 weekend. He hits a home run against Florida yesterday. He's turned a corner. Some offensive pieces look good. And then obviously we know that what Florida State pitching is able to do at its best. We saw it at Wake Forest. We've seen it. They've all won pitcher of the week at different times this year. Talk to me about what you're seeing from this series.
I think my biggest question mark is how legitimate, like Monty, in your head, Virginia, Georgia Tech offensively, where would you I think you lean Georgia Tech overall, but how big of a gap do you think it is? Because let's be very clear, right? Florida State won the weekend not because of their offense. Oh
no, they had timely hitting, but yeah.
Yes, correct. I mean, and again, obviously they scored 9 in game 3, but in terms of the reality of it, they allowed 9 runs in the 3 games against that Virginia offense. I want to think, obviously, if this becomes a slugfest, this definitely leans Georgia Tech. If it's first to 7 or 8 runs to win, yes, this is Georgia Tech's series. But I mean, has Georgia Tech faced a staff like Florida State this year? And that's not questioning whether Georgia Tech's
no,
good.
I don't think they have in the conference. I mean, California's is not bad, but
NC State obviously has some dudes, no pun intended.
And they won that through pitching. I mean, I think that except for the Sunday game.
Yeah. So, I mean, Virginia Tech's obviously not anything to write home about on the mound. Northwestern, Stony Brook, Bowling Green. I'm just going through their schedule, and I'm like, they haven't seen this yet. And so I'm just curious, like, do you favor, because all signs to me, I mean, this is going to be the best crowd Georgia Tech's probably had in the modern era of the new ballpark when they've done all the renovations and everything. It's going to be the best,
and it's the first top 5 series since 2009.
Yeah, so obviously it's going to be an electric series. I expect Florida State fans to be they always make their presence known in those major cities. There's alumni in Charlotte and Atlanta, and so I expect that to be obviously a really good spot. Florida State's got all the confidence in the world. I think they're going to be a little TO'd because, again, they just lost to Florida in the midweek. They got swept in that series with Florida if you count all 3 games. Again, play an actual weekend, Florida, and then you can do your little braggy brag. But, on the flip side, again, like Georgia Tech I think Georgia Tech's the better team. And I think that, the atmosphere, I hate to say it, but the part that scares me the most is that I feel like there's so much more pressure on Georgia Tech. Because if they lose this series with the atmosphere that they have, let's just call it what it is. Everyone is quick to be like, well, this is the Georgia Tech of old. They're not different. They're overrated. Every year they're overrated. They're overrated. They're overrated. What if they lose 6-5 on Friday night and then lose 5-4 on Saturday and then salvage on Thursday, Friday? Salvage on Saturday. Everyone's going to be like, well, clearly Georgia Tech wasn't very good. And it's not going to that's the thing that sucks is the conversation probably won't be look at Florida State. It'll be what is Georgia Tech? Because they're going to look, oh, well, they swept Cal. Oh, they swept NC State. That's somewhat impressive. The Auburn midweek win doesn't look very good because Auburn just got run ruled in the midweek by Jack State. So that's not going to hold too much weight. Clemson's what Clemson is. Virginia Tech's what Virginia Tech is. Those aren't sweeps. I just feel like there's so much outside pressure on Georgia.
And it's funny you're bringing this up because you're not wrong. It's just funny because they've done everything they're supposed to do, except maybe that 9-2 loss to Auburn.
Yeah.
Everything else they've done.
And the Georgia State random one-off was really
right.
Weird.
Good point. I already forgot about that. But yeah, it's interesting because you're right. I mean, people are itching to bring up that narrative. And I mean, on the other hand, that is fueling this team because they if they need a chip on their shoulder, it's being provided, and they don't need a chip on their shoulder, but they love that. But yeah, the pressure's definitely, I feel like it's the same thing. And Florida State, again, they're going to come in there, playing with house money, and we've seen the pitching. I don't know how much the gap is between Virginia and Georgia Tech. I would have said it was slimmer than it was, but then the last 2 weeks of Virginia offense has kind of stifled, especially at the top. Becker and Gracia have been in major funks outside of the midweeks. I want to say I did the stat the other day. Becker, Sam Harris, Gracia, and Didewick went a combined 4 for 48 against Florida State. Yeah. After the disaster of offense against Boston College. So those guys are slumping. So, I would normally say the gap between Georgia Tech and Virginia wasn't that big, but then, how much of it is Virginia slumping and how much of it is Florida State pitching? It's hard to say. I do like Florida State in this series, but I agree with you that the pressure's on, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. I'm just really excited for the matchup. And it's just interesting that because it's the Thursday through Saturday series, we kick off our show because we typically kind of go in order. And we're starting the series, the show off with the biggest series of the weekend.
Yeah, if you weren't going to it, I was going to say let's flip it and let's work backwards this time around. But it's not nothing wrong with kicking it off with a bang. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day when you got to love those 11:30 midnight. Your just brain can't shut off, so you go down a rabbit hole. It might be the best, the best case scenario for the ACC. I just saw this when I was thinking about Georgia Tech was. They win, Georgia Tech takes 2 or 3 against Florida State. Then North Carolina takes 2 or 3 of them over Georgia Tech in Chapel Hill the weekend after. But then on that Tuesday midweek, because they lost the series to North Carolina, they beat Georgia at Truist. They're in Atlanta, in downtown, or not in Atlanta, wherever it is, Marietta.
Yeah, wherever they put Truist.
Again, you could be like, hey, we beat Georgia. And then look at the depth of the ACC, because then you could play the game of Virginia beat North Carolina beat Georgia Tech beat Florida State beat Virginia. You create the cycle of the 4 best teams, in my opinion, in the ACC, kind of all coming together there. Like you get this like perfect
Your
kind of
opinion?
setup. Yeah, not including BC. I'm sorry, BC. But BC gets looped into that because they beat Virginia, and I think did North Carolina take the series with them. So like now you've got this circle.
Yeah, that was
continuing to grow.
Yeah, that ended up being a fantastic series, and that's why BC's still ranked because
for sure. I refuse to like. If BC would have been unranked, I'd have been kind of furious because like they were like an out or two away from winning the series. It
was Kyle Kipp. It was the second week in a row on a Sunday when one of their best relievers decided not to be able to throw a strike all of a sudden. Yeah. It was just a blip outing, but yeah.
So you got that piece. So, anyways, I'm assuming we're going to go into predictions here. I am going to take Georgia Tech 2-3. I just think that at the end of the day, this spot is so big for the Yellow Jackets, and again, they are not overrated. I always have to have that conversation with people that I talk to that are more like SEC. Obviously, I get the crap about being SEC Micah and Big 12 Micah, but I do defend the ACC. And Georgia Tech's one of those teams I continually have to defend because they're always like, they're not very good. Watch them. Just watch them. So I hope people – is the Thursday night game is at ACC Network, I'm assuming? Tomorrow?
It should be, yeah.
I wish it was ESPN or ESPN2, but I guess it's
Thursday. They only do Tuesday, Wednesday games.
Yeah. But regardless, from that standpoint, like hopefully all eyes are on that. Not that the Vandy OU game doesn't deserve some love, but this is much bigger of a stage. So, I'm excited and I'm jealous for you, Monty. You're gonna have a blast.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be getting in there early tomorrow and be talking with a lot of people about stuff and figuring out what's been going on, but I'm not going to be able to save the graphic, Micah. I've got the picks from our 3 other people, and it's going to be I figured you were going to go Georgia Tech with us, but I was hoping you would save the graphic because I'm certainly not going to do it. So it will be.
I don't want to switch my pick just to save the graphics. I feel like
that also defeats the purpose, I feel like. But we're going to be hearing
Florida State though for what it's worth. But I just think that Georgia, and again, like Florida State, obviously they had to impress to take that series with Virginia. I still have my question marks about Virginia. I mean, again, they just dropped the midweek to JMU yesterday by playing very sloppy baseball. But even besides that point, like it's hard to come off the mat. Like again, the depth is still a question mark for Florida State. You just had to battle it out with Virginia. How are you going to be able to do that again? And on some short rests too, like obviously less rest with this being Thursday through Saturday. And I mean, again, like Florida kind of exploited Florida State's lineup a little bit last night. And I think, again, we both are believers that the numbers that Georgia Tech's putting up on the mound right now are more of what they are than what, everyone thinks the past Georgia Tech teams are. So if Georgia Tech, again, if McKee pitches well and, Patel, excuse me, I was just combine the first and last name together there. Patel decides to, come in whatever game and kind of pitch. Like again, you get a good outing on your bullpen. I think you're in a good spot. So yeah, maybe Georgia Tech 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. That everybody's got Georgia Tech except for Kaylee, who has a sweep, which outrageous.
For Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So she's real confident. I will say, by the way, that the rankings. Nixon last. He's 1 game behind you, me, and Kaylee. And Dom, who is going to pick Clemson in a sweep every week regardless. And Clemson.
He had a good week last week. He
went 7-1.
I counted it up. And I was like, okay, I had a pretty bad week. I'm like, everyone else had a pretty bad. I was like, I'm actually going to grow in the standings a little bit. But
Dom is in first with a 2-game lead.
I was like, I caught Monty, and I'm like, wait, Dom is now in first place.
Yep, and keep in
mind,
7-1
last week. That's what it was.
Yep.
Like he just had like an incredible week last week.
Yep, he was, I think, a game behind us, and then
Stanford,
all of a sudden
you had one job.
So going into that next series, we're talking about BC Bird Ball, baby. It's Virginia Tech, and it's BC. And I was interested. I was more concerned a little bit about BC with the double midweek. Obviously, UMass and Dartmouth aren't very good, but the BC of old would probably have lost one of these games. But the unprecedented pitching depth that they have allows them to be able to handle these double midweeks a lot better, which is just still something I'm getting used to because I see them, they've given up an immediate lead in both games, I think, and then just been fine and then steamrolled. Both were run rules. So, at first I'm like, uh-oh, they're in trouble. And very quickly, they're not in trouble. We had a Wang Bang today. Yesterday, he had an infield single and 2 steals, Micah. So Nick Wang, fastest man alive.
Print the shirts. Me. Nick, the Roadrunner, Wang.
There we go. So yeah, Virginia Tech going up there. I believe the Saturday game is the Fenway game for the ALS game. So they'll be playing at Fenway. And then Friday and Sunday they'll be playing in Brighton.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech is either 15th or 16th. I imagine you have them 15th because we can't not put Cal at 16th at this point. They're 1-11. It is interesting though that Virginia Tech, I believe, are they 5-7 in conference play somehow?
They are 5-7. Yes. No. Yes.
No. 6-9.
4 and 8 or 5 and 7. How many weekends have we had? We've had 4 ACC weekends.
5. Some teams have had 5. Some have had 4. I think Virginia Tech has had 5. I think they're 6-9.
Really?
Which is crazy because I have them 15th, and yet
they are. Yeah, they are 6-9 in conference. You are correct. And to put a shock to you, Monty, I actually did put Virginia Tech last still in my power rankings.
Oh wow. I
refuse to punish Cal. I probably should at this point because they keep losing. But
yeah, I had to leave them there. But in the ACC standings, that means at 6-9 they're ahead of Clemson, Cal, Stanford, and that's it. Okay, they're right behind Louisville. I don't know. Well, they might be ahead. I don't know how because Louisville's played 3 less games. So
Monty, do you not follow me on Twitter?
Did you do? Oh, you have the bracket out. I didn't memorize it though, Micah. I do know 6 a.m. Cal.
Virginia Tech would be the 13 seed if the season ended today.
So they're ahead of 4 teams.
Correct, because technically Notre Dame's ahead of them as well.
Okay.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, because Notre Dame's 6-9 as well. That's right.
Correct, but Notre Dame had they don't have the head-to-head, but they have the 14th tiebreaker scenario is just overall record, and obviously we know Notre Dame has a better record than Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech has a tendency to get dominated Friday and Saturday, and then somehow salvage on Sunday, and that's why they're able to have a better conference record than I think we feel that they are as a team.
Yes.
I think they're in trouble this weekend because they're going to face 3 good pitchers, and if they cannot hit, if they cannot field, if they cannot throw strikes, BC Bird Ball is going to run all over them all weekend.
Yeah.
And they're going to face they're going to face Brady Miller, who's arguably BC's best pitcher in the Sunday game.
Yeah. Everything about this though makes me believe that Virginia Tech's still going to find a way to get one because they just do.
Yeah.
And you and I both don't like to talk should someone be fired, should someone be should not be.
Yeah.
But if Virginia Tech does get swept, I will be shocked if there's not some serious heat.
I think it sounds like there may be some potential serious heat behind the scenes. That's not very
there's
public.
already. I'm sure there's some heat. I mean, there is some heat. You and I both know that. But if you're first, you're 6-9 in conference play, you go 0. And by the way, you would go 0-4 on the week, and you're supposed to tell your donors, hey, by the way, the school about an hour and a half away, Liberty, is looking at a potential at-large spot and just beat the living poop out of you in the midweek. And then, by the way, you just went to Boston College and got swept. A program that you should never, if you're Virginia Tech in your head, be behind in college baseball.
Right.
So, again, do we want that? No. Are we saying that's what we think should happen? No. But we're also human beings that have conversations with people. We know what can come from this. I don't think Virginia Tech's program has quit on the staff. I don't. I think that, again, I still believe in this staff. I think not saying they're going to be the tournament team, but I do think that they can figure it out. But this is going to be a big test. I'll say they get one. Who knows? Maybe they do some weird thing and they win the Fenway game. Didn't Miami win it last year?
They
wasn't
did.
it Miami's turning-ish point was Cuvée wrapped one around the pole and then they took that series. And granted, this is not the CBC team as this year, but
if I recall, I can't remember. Colarusso didn't start last year because they try to cycle it around. So it'll be they may. It's funny. I just mentioned that Brady's pitching Sunday, but I got to check and see who will actually end up pitching because they like to move it around. John West pitched there once, then they let Colarusso against Virginia. And then, so it'll be interesting to see. I think it might have been Brady last year. So it could be Tyler Mudd this year, which would just leave them on the normal rotation cycle. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. They normally, they don't normally lose that ALS game. Because remember that Virginia series in 2024, that's an Omaha team that lost the ALS game to a BC team that was in Internato's first year. So interesting. But yeah, I'm going to pick BC 2 of 3. I don't like to pick sweeps, but it would not surprise me. But at the same time,
on paper, this is a BC sweep, especially because the matchups of the two teams. No disrespect to Virginia Tech, but they aren't the cleanest teams either. So, right. Their tendencies. You're talking about a team that's going to play fundamental small ball against you,
and that's what I think made the BC series at UNC so impressive, even though they lost, because UNC has is the antidote to BC bird ball.
Yeah.
And that was evidenced by 7 ground ball double plays. So yeah, everyone's on BC. Nick is going to go with a sweep. Okay. Moving along to another big one. I have an article coming out tomorrow with some fun stuff. But the conversation between Virginia and Notre Dame, both teams have been struggling over the last 2 weeks. Virginia's 2-4 on the weekend, over the 2 weekends. Notre Dame 0-6. I think they're in dire as we speak right now. They're in dire straits against Michigan State. So it's make or break time for both teams. Obviously, Virginia's going to have a little bit more wiggle room because they have a little bit better resume ahead of this. But we know Virginia fans are going to be hitting that panic button if they don't win this series. What are your thoughts here? By the way, the article I've written, real quick, it'll be out tomorrow morning. I've written it, but Micah, if you put this is just a little fun fact from it. If you put all 12 of the combined coaching staff, the names, into a hat, rummaged it around, and pulled one out at random, there is a 33% chance that the name you pull is a graduate of Lynchburg College. Sorry, the University of Lynchburg. 4 of the 12 coaches on the combined coaching staff of UVA and Notre Dame are graduates of Lynchburg.
That's crazy. Shout out the Hornets, man.
So,
I mean, by the way, what was that? 3 years ago, Division III national champs. 2 years ago,
and the head coach is an assistant at Notre Dame, Lucas Jones.
I forgot about that. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. 5 of the 6 coaches on the Notre Dame staff are graduated, and coached at Virginia schools. The one that didn't was Ryan Munger, who was the team captain of Chris Pollard's first Duke team. Also, Sean Stifler played for Chris Pollard, fun fact, in 1998 in the Coastal Plains League. So fun stuff coming out in the article tomorrow about the connections between these two staffs. There's a lot more stuff in that article than what I've just revealed. It's wild.
That's insane.
So it's going to come out of my Substack. So if you're already subscribed, you're good. Otherwise, there'll be links. Michael will get it twice because I think I've got his email in there twice.
You do? So, well, if you have an emails. I get it twice, but I get it from different emails.
Yeah.
And honestly, I click on them both, and I normally end up I think I rotate every week which one I actually end up reading it from. So
love that. So you're giving me the stats and still getting it. So a bonus article. There'll be 2 emails again tomorrow. I've already done 2 emails this week in one day. I'm doing it again because the power rankings will be out tomorrow as well. I also gave out my ACC midseason awards on Just Baseball today, and there may be a VCU feature coming here tomorrow too. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. Micah, how are we feeling about this series?
You know what happened the last time the Virginia Cavaliers went to South Bend?
Estevan Moreno had a 3-home run game and swept a Omaha team.
Do you know what the temperatures were like at that time?
Were they similar to what we're expecting?
Both weekends included multiple 45-degree first pitch days with more than a 40% chance of rain. Notre Dame's taking the series.
Wow. 2 of 3?
I mean, I don't know what's best for the ACC, if it's Notre Dame to win this or Virginia to win this, because I think, like, in a way, like, I don't know if not saying Notre Dame can't save their reputation, but it's going to be hard. Like, the fear with Notre Dame is they're 15-12 overall. By the way, 15-13.
They're I think they're toast. Their tournament is basically toast if they don't win the series.
Yes.
Virginia can still
correct. Virginia's got plenty in front of them, and again, like that Wake Forest series is going to hold some weight, right? Like, you know, they have Clemson next week at home. That feels like a should be good spot.
Mm-hmm.
A series at Pitt, Virginia always plays pretty well there. It feels like.
Plus, at home we have to worry about.
Yeah. Plus like you factor in too, like Pitt's going to be quality for RPI this year. Normally that's kind of a hurts you kind of spot.
Yep.
You've got Cal. Like Virginia's schedule feels a lot more maneuverable. And again, at Louisville to end it, like depending on what Louisville is at that point, there's a world where Louisville may have checked out. Like, not to diminish our wonderful cards over there, but you know, if Louisville's probably outside the tournament looking in, besides ACC play, who knows? You know, especially if Virginia's fighting for something. But and again, Virginia still got Liberty too in the midweek. That's going to be a good RPI spot. So they've got, and how could I forget that big midweek next Tuesday at the Diamond? How could I forget that? But you're not going to be there, are you?
I get to be at the Diamond. I will be on the Diamond on the 7th against Virginia and the 14th against Virginia Tech.
You mean 14th and 21st because the 7th was yesterday.
Yes, whatever. You're right. Absolutely. They are back to back. I just have the dates completely. I forgot we're already
back in time.
Yeah.
But anyways, cool. But yeah, I'll take Notre Dame 2 or 3 strictly because again, Virginia's still struggling a little bit, and you factor in just the fact that Notre Dame's gonna be more desperate. The history says that Notre Dame has had Virginia's card there. This is that time of year again, too, right? Like, I guess we're not late April yet, but you know, April, May, Notre Dame at home.
I did put out a tweet, I think Sunday morning. It wasn't Sunday morning. It would have been Saturday morning after talking to Stifler that after April 15th, the record flips big time for Notre Dame. So we're not quite there yet, but that's happening very soon.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can afford to wait until the 15th this year.
Yeah.
And we all agreed that they're a tournament caliber team, but now they've got to start, reeling around.
Yeah, their only saving grace about the remaining schedule is the fact that besides Virginia this weekend at home, you could lose the series at Virginia, and if you somehow win the series in Tallahassee the next weekend, then maybe you're able to keep your hopes alive. But I don't think you want to play that game.
This is also another opportunity where Notre Dame's getting a team that's struggling, and they haven't been able to really get the kill, right? Louisville, they went to Louisville, and we talked about it that weekend, that this if you're going to make a statement on the road at Louisville, this is when you would want to do it. They lose that series, right?
Yeah.
NC State had their first 0-4 weekend since 2000, or 0-4 week since 2009. They had lost 6 in a row, 7 in a row. That's, you got NC State in a place where they don't want to be, and NC State sweeps them. And again, you can't afford to get swept the 2 weekends in a row you did. Now, obviously, North Carolina is, wasn't exactly where you wanted them, but you got them at home.
Yeah.
So they now have a chance at Virginia, who is got, again, scuffling and got them right where you want them. This is an opportunity to get that kill. So I picked Virginia when they went to Boston College. I was wrong. I picked Florida State last week. I was right, hoping to kind of mix things up. Jack Riddell on Friday is tough. And
I think that's it. I think they're going to be able to take game one. And then again, like Virginia has had a little bit, correct me if I'm wrong, Monty, of a Sunday problem. They did take it against Wake, but like even that Sunday game got off to a rough start. They jumped on them after they fell behind 4-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the one really good Sunday start from Payone was against Brady Miller. And it was essential because they had to survive Brady Miller.
That's true. They did win the Sunday against BC. No, they didn't win the Sunday against BC, did they?
They did. That
was the salvage game. I can't remember which game it was. It was the salvage game. You're right.
They were able to hold BC to one run. That's with right. Brady Miller was 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, and then they scored 3 runs in the 8th to salvage. So
plus Virginia, have you seen their road record this year, Monty? Or do you know it?
Nope, I'm taking Virginia though. You're not going to convince me.
They are 5-5 on the road. They have as many losses on the road as they do at home and neutral combined. And they have played 24 home/neutral games and 10 road games.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right. Nick went UVA, Kaylee went UVA, Dom went UVA. I don't love that 4 of us are going UVA.
I'm saving the graphic. Yes.
And you're doing it with genuine conviction, which is important.
Yes, because otherwise picking Notre Dame.
Yep. All right. Go. Big series. Clemson. Maybe they turned a corner, maybe not. Tristan McClatty's out for a while. They're going to need some freshmen to step up big. Clemson hosting North Carolina. North Carolina looking once again in the top tier of the ACC with Georgia Tech and Florida State. Before we get into talking about it, I will say Kaylee and Nick have gone with North Carolina. Dom legally has to go with Clemson.
Did he say sweep too?
Yes, he always does. I think the only exception he's made for the Clemson sweep rule that he has is Georgia Tech, and he still picked Clemson to win that series. But every other one,
the exception, we have to play Indiana State. Is that the exception?
Maybe that'd be interesting.
Then he can technically pick with his actual heart or his mind. No, I'm not gonna say a sweep because I do think Clemson's still battling for something.
Yeah,
and it is hard to play at DKS, but I just don't. Nothing Clemson did in California this weekend impressed me. They needed.
They actually blew the Charmin start.
Yeah. And they didn't look good. I mean, it was Monday, but they didn't look good against Santa Clara. They didn't. I mean, again, Stanford is Stanford. They're 14-15 on the season. Like, that's not a series that you want to like. Again, they sweep that, bang your chest. But 2 or 3 is not anything crazy to me. Again, North Carolina is playing really good baseball, and North Carolina is being disrespected nationally. Honestly, I know it's crazy to say as a top 5 team. But when everyone talks best teams in college baseball, you never hear North Carolina mentioned. In the ACC, you don't even they're not, again, they're the 3rd best team. And I have them as my 3rd team in my power rankings too. So I can't say much, but they have a legitimate argument that they're the Virginia series is kind of forgotten about now at this point, in my opinion. And even then, they didn't play necessarily. They played bad those first 2 games, bounced back just fine.
They played bad in all 3. Caden Glauber saved it.
They weren't very good in game 3.
Caden Glauber saved that series, and he's been arguably the best reliever in the conference. I think.
But since then, man, they've been on a tear. I mean, they've dropped since those 2 games against Virginia. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-2. And they've played Boston College. They played in South Bend. They played Louisville. They played an SEC team. Originally I said SEC team because I didn't want to say South Carolina because but Campbell, who's been playing really good baseball.
They had that was a late night.
Yeah. Charlotte, who's been a very good American team. They've played good teams. Bucknell, who's in 1st place in the Patriot League's also included in that.
That's a hell of a poll. The only reason you know that is because of bracketology.
Shout out Bucknell. But
by the way, I don't know if I have not seen your latest.
Bucknell RPI of 84 when I looked yesterday. So shout out the Bison.
I was going to say, I don't know if you've adjusted your bracketology, but St. Joe's is a wagon.
Yeah, are they above VCU now?
Yeah. So I think so. It's St. Joe's. I think they have a 2 or 3 game lead, and then George Mason and VCU are 8-4.
Okay.
So I think
Do I rock with St. Joe's now? Okay.
they're 11-1 in the A10.
I just didn't know. Like, I try to keep with if I like leaned you in early in the year, unless like you're drastically behind, I don't switch up on you because it's so.
They just
early.
keep winning. They look really impressive.
Yeah. I need to watch a game of theirs. I also need to look up their ballpark. I don't even know what their ballpark looks like. Like I feel like I know what every Division I baseball stadium looks like. I have no idea where St. Joe's plays. So that's what I'll do after this show. But anyways, A10 Monty segment, love that. But yeah, no, I mean, I'll give North Carolina 2 or 3 here, and I want to say it's the death blow to Clemson's tournament hopes, but it's just gonna get bleaker and bleaker as we go.
Yeah. Well, North Carolina. Walker McDuffie's back. Caden Glauber has turned into a weapon. They found another guy in Jackson Rose. The Carolina arm barn is arm barning, and I assume Jason DeCaro's over his illness. The bird flu is a heck of a thing when bird ball's in town. But it's an epidemic. But DeCaro, he's back. I mean, I like UNC, and I wouldn't be surprised if they swept. But the good news for Clemson is Jason Fultz Jr. finally had that breakout weekend we were looking for. Hopefully that can continue with him in the lineup. Tristan McClatty's out. Jaron Purify, I believe, is still out. Things aren't great. But Michael Sharman getting back on track was a good sign as well. So who knows? Clemson's fighting. You never know. A couple weekends and Clemson's back. You know what I mean?
They're so talented. They're just that one weird weekend away from potentially figuring it out. Light bulb coming on.
Yeah. Wake Forest on the road, right? Mark Light Magic. Miami's back. Wake Forest they survived a trap series that I was convinced was going to be a major problem, and they handled it pretty well. I mean, they were unlucky not to sweep.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling about this series? Because I have no clue. And I know where you're going.
Do you?
No, I don't. I just wanted to throw that out.
No, yeah, I'm still so torn on Miami because they pulled me back in the last couple weekends, but then I go Clemson and Virginia Tech.
The bullpen is where the bullpen still scares me.
And again, what are you? Clemson, Virginia Tech, and again, the weekend before that was Creighton. So, in all reality, the last time I think they played someone as talented as what they're going to see in Wake Forest was Duke, and they lost that series.
Well, and you mean as good a team, maybe. Talented maybe is the right word when talking about Duke.
Yeah, sorry. If I use the word talented, that's definitely what I meant more. I still think Duke has honestly talent. Oh, Clemson has more talent, but
do we need to pull up your preseason Duke talk? Because talent was not something you described them as.
Yeah. On that note,
let's also remember who I had 16th, and they are significantly better than 16th Pitt. So just to throw myself under the bus there, make it like.
No, I'm gonna lean Miami 2 of 3. Only because I've stuck to the propaganda that Wake Forest is the best good team in college baseball. They're not great, they're just good. But they're really good at being good. And they're on the road. You look at, Wake Forest taking the series at Pitt though has me just torn because I really thought that was I didn't doubt that pick at all.
That screamed a trap series.
That's fair.
That screamed Pitt winning.
When
even Nick picked against Wake Forest.
Yeah, true. What is more? What's the word I'm looking for? Where do you think Miami lies? Are they closer to Virginia, or are they closer to Pitt?
I think they're closer to Virginia, but
okay. So
I trust Virginia.
Miami makes sense because
I trust Virginia's pitching.
Because both those were road series. Obviously, Wake took 2 of 3 at Pitt, but obviously dropped 2 of 3 against Virginia. So, yeah, I'll lean Miami 2 of 3. We'll trust that a good Rob Evans start will occur again. We'll
But
trust
he's
the
facing
bats
Chris
like,
Lavonis.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. I'm just gonna continue to be a Wake hater.
Yeah. You got stick with what you know.
Plus,
I'm gonna go with.
supposedly is going to be sending me a hat soon. Supposedly,
Yeah, you can't go against that. I'm
exactly.
going to go Wake Forest. I like Chris Lavonis. If they stick with the same rotation with Morningstar on game 2 and then Bagwell on game 3, I really like the Bagwell matchup versus whomever Miami decides to go with, whether that's Siskar or Cholera or whatever they're doing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go Wake Forest. I have another show that I've been asked, and I can't remember if I went the opposite way because I don't want to hedge my bet by accident, but I might have. Moving along, how about those Duke Blue Devils? They're on the road at NC State. Corey Muscara has them near the bubble. I don't know. I actually haven't. If you've done bracketology this week, I have not seen it, but I know you considered Duke for the top 25.
I did. I didn't do bracket. I didn't do a graphic. I updated my spreadsheet just so I have something to build off of for next week.
Gotcha.
Once we get to the halfway point of conference series, I'll go weekly. So like next week will be the start of the weekly. But yes, Duke was in, if you're curious. I don't believe in NC State. That's the problem. I don't.
I know you don't.
But Duke's not more NC State's more talented. So I just I don't know. This is actually, honestly, like, no joke aside, this might be the hardest weekend in the ACC to pick because I think there's only 2 that I truly feel confident in, maybe 3, but even then, like Louisville, Stanford to me is still very confusing because I'm just like, I don't know what to make of Louisville. But they're at home, so I feel better about it. But anyways, I'm going to go NC State 2 of 3. Only because if you look at Duke's, like obviously Duke's under 500 in ACC play, but Duke is 3-7 on the road this year. I know obviously it's not a far commute to Duke.
There's a lot of factors.
In their own bed.
Yeah, they should be. They should be.
So I don't think Duke flexes by getting a hotel room in Raleigh when you could just go 20 minutes to your own bed. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure those series,
but they dropped that series at Virginia Tech. They dropped the series at Florida State. They always find a way to get one, so I'm not picking a sweep. They obviously dropped the midweek at ECU earlier this week. They dropped the midweek at Campbell. Like, they just don't play very well on the road. They'll drop the game at High Point too. So I'm just gonna pick with my gut here and say NC State 2 of 3 because the numbers say pick NC State. Even though numbers don't work with Duke because Duke is just Duke.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how impressed I am with how Corey Muscara has got those guys playing because it's one thing to sell what you're doing, but to get those players to truly buy in and continue to do it and believe it is just unbelievable. So I'm gonna go Duke. NC State's just so streaky to me, and just when we think we have them maybe figured out and they're gonna put together more wins, I think that's where they're gonna throw us for another loop. So I'm going to go Duke here. Just, again, like you said, hardest weekend to figure out.
Love it.
Let's cover our two West Coast teams. Cal is going to be on the road at Pitt. Pitt? How are we feeling? By the way, sorry. Nick, of course, picked Wake Forest and NC State in each of the last, it's only noteworthy if he picks against those teams.
What was the group's pick for Wake and Miami? Like, what was everyone's
3-2? Dom and Kaylee went Miami.
Okay.
Nick went Wake. You went Miami. I went Wake. And then for NC State, it's Micah, Nick, Dom, and then Kaylee and I with Duke. And Kaylee, again, you never know with her ties to.
Yeah, we're going to have some separation this week is what I'm learning. We have a lot of, like, you're going to have 2 or 3 people at the top and then 2 or 3 people at the bottom. Love that. Or I guess we'll all just equal out because one will get one right, one will get the other one right. But,
yep. All right. I will say that all 3 of Nick, Dom, and Kaylee are in agreement with Pitt.
Love that. I am going to take 2 of 3 for Pitt because, I mean, not that Cal has given up on their season, but their NCAA tournament hope almost at this point feels like it relies on a actual ACC tournament run.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Or winning out. Winning out.
Yeah, or winning out, yes. But, like, Pitt, like, again, they're 21-9. Their RPI is 40, so higher RPI than they normally have at this time of the year. considering normally how many times they play midweeks. Again, the last 2 midweeks have been RPI 300 teams with Youngstown State and Mercyhurst. But, you factor all that in. I think they're going to get Cal. And again, also, too, you know what? I had to change my Cal trip, so that stinks. Plus, I bought the home run rock shirt today. I don't know if you saw that. Pitt dropped their home run line. $35, by the way. So easiest $35 I've ever spent on a Nike shirt.
Oh, what about the Louisville deal? Remember the Louisville deal? That was like
the $5,000. Yeah,
$5,000. I was trying to remember.
You could buy a Nike sweatshirt for $60 with that logo on it for Pitt.
Oh wow, that's not a bad deal there.
No, I live in Texas. I don't need sweatshirts. But
you will eventually.
Hopefully.
Hashtag global warming. Just kidding. I was actually talking about other jobs down the line. Anyway.
But anyways, I'll take Pitt 2 or 3 just so that gut feeling too. But honestly, if I was going to pick a sweep this weekend too, by the way, I think this would be the one I'd pick as a sweep. I'm not picking any sweeps. Spoiler alert.
I'm taking Pitt. Pitt's a good team. I think they missed an opportunity against Wake, but Wake pitched really well. I think Pitt's going to have Wake offense really played well. But I think Pitt's going to have a bounce back. And even though I like Cal's pitching, Pitt's offense is legit. I think we all agree on that. And they were able to put up some runs without Carey or even having a big weekend. So I'm going to go Pitt 2 or 3. So we're all in agreement there.
And they saved some runs from the midweek, unlike last week where they decided to dump them all on Mercyhurst. So
27-3.
Yeah, only 12-2 today. So they saved some.
Saved some. All right, good. Stanford at Louisville is our last game. I will say, Kaylee, this is so disrespectful. Kaylee, she picked a Stanford sweep on the road, which is I would argue is as bad as calling an NC State sweep of Georgia Tech on the road. But Nick and Dom both picked Louisville.
They are 2-4 in the Eastern time zone this season. So
and both those wins were in Blacksburg.
That would be correct.
Teddy Talkheim's legit. The offense is
you know what?
decent.
I lied, Monty. I said no sweeps this weekend, but Kaylee has done a Nick and has made me mad. Louisville sweeps Stanford. You don't disrespect my Louisville Cardinals.
That's why I was sitting there. I was like, that is so bad.
Especially, you know what? This is also karma because I stood on this show just last week and said, nobody goes to Sunken Diamond and gets it done and gets right. And you know who did? Clemson did. So you know what? We're flipping the switch.
I personally love that. I was stunned when I got her text because I was like, when are these people? Well, guys, what are we doing? Why are we so disrespectful?
So Kaylee has made me upset. Louisville, you're sweeping now. It was just going to be 2 or 3, but not anymore.
I'm taking Louisville. The pitching's not great, but Stanford's pitching is worse. I would think they don't have
especially because they're about to go play at a ballpark where the ball is going to fly.
Yeah. And they don't have, Stanford doesn't have a Danilowicz. It's the only guys that have really impressed me at Stanford is with consistency is Trevor Moore and Torrin O'Haron. And even those guys haven't always been super consistent. Well, Trevor Moore basically has, but Torrin O'Haron's been up and down. I just trust. I can't believe I'm saying I trust the Louisville pitching staff more, and I can't believe I'm saying that in this day and age right now. But yeah, let's go with that. By the way, Eberle may have had a turning point in the season with his 15 strikeout performance against Duke last weekend. So,
yeah.
Which is the ACC high this year. That's going to be 4 of us picking Louisville and Kaylee by herself on an island with Stanford in a sweep. All right.
None of your business, Kaylee. Go for it.
X Factor, the pitchers. We'll start there. I have actually not thought of mine yet, but I will share that Nick got first dibs because I needed his picks. He went with Tate McGee, who I'm assuming is a typo, and he meant Tate McKee.
Rob Evans, Miami.
Ooh la la.
Because he wasn't great last week, right? I'm not mistaken on that.
He was solid. I believe he was pretty good.
Was it 2 weeks ago? He struggled in one of his more recent outings, right?
It might have been 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha. But even if so, I mean, again, he's going to go against Lavonis.
I thought you were going to say Lamar. I was like, whoa, plot twist. Miami's playing Lamar.
The Jackson Cleveland Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to play in Norman.
Plot twist.
But anyways, no. Yeah. So Rob Evans for me. Who's yours?
You know what? I'm going to counter. I'm going to go. Actually, you know what? No, I'll stick with Wake Forest, but instead of going with the easy Lavonis pick, I'm going to go Cam
We
Bagwell.
could fight.
I'm going to go Cam Bagwell in the possible.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
Because I think Lavonis could be good, and him being an X factor to your definition. I think in your definition, which is the correct definition, Rob Evans has to kind of match Lavonis. I think Lavonis is going to be good regardless, which isn't really an X factor, right?
Yeah.
So
True.
I'm gonna go Cam Bagwell on in a potential rubber match.
I'm so excited about my hitter, but I hope it's not been taken. Who are the hitters that have been taken? Or I guess there's only been 2.
The only one is Lorenzo Carrier.
Beautiful. I will be taking Carson Curse, Georgia Tech.
I love that.
If Georgia Tech takes this series, I think Carson Curse is going to be a big reason why.
Are you saying Florida State's about to get cursed?
Ooh.
Should I just go with my other catchphrase for Florida State or for Georgia Tech over Florida State? They just got zucked.
Get zucked.
So no, I'm not going to do that just because that would be another Georgia Tech. Let me double check here. One of the closer series. Let me go, since I'm picking Duke, let me go DeMartini, who I think has turned a corner for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and let's be real. If they win that series, he's probably going to be a big reason why.
Right, exactly. Yeah, as much as I would love to stick with that Georgia Tech Florida State series, I think you nailed it with Curse, and I would only be doubling up with another Georgia Tech hitter, which I think is just kind of easy at that point. I do think Hunter Carnes could be an X factor if I had been going with Florida State, obviously on the offensive side, and obviously the pitching. There's a ton of X factors in that series, especially on the Florida State side. If certain things go well, it's going to be interesting. But that's going to do it for us, basically. So the 3 pitcher X factors, we've got Tate McKee for Nick, Rob Evans for Micah, Cam Bagwell for me, and then Michael DeMartini is my hitter. Carson freaking Curse, the best number 9 hitter in the country, who doesn't hit number 9 anymore, leads the country in doubles though, is Micah's pick, and then Lorenzo Carrier, the former Miami Hurricane and now 2-year Pitt Panther. That's going to do it for us here. Before we sign off, I've mentioned a bunch of content. I've got midseason awards out. I've got a Substack coming out tomorrow with the Notre Dame UVA connections. I've got the graphics for the picks and everything, but we've also got the All-Star vote going on. So make sure you get votes out. I think we've got 60 votes so far. By the way, those of you that are watching, the Home Run Derby is hypothetical, which means injuries don't exist. So if you want to vote for Miles Bailey, please vote for Miles Bailey, because we are fantasizing here, and I think most people would agree they would love a Home Run Derby with Miles Bailey in it. So vote for him if you want to vote. If you want a Home Run Derby with Miles Bailey, guess what? We can do that because it's not real. That's the beauty of a hypothetical, right? So go out and vote. You've got 4 days or so to vote. It'll end at 11:59 on Monday night, so that we've got time to sort that out and figure out those rosters. Micah, anything to add?
No, not really. It can be a fun ACC weekend. I'm excited, Monty. My game plan is obviously tomorrow I'm at BYU at Houston. Friday I'm at the return of Schlossnagle at A&M, but Saturday and Sunday I will be in a press box at football, but I will be watching ACC baseball on my laptop.
Oh man,
so,
my favorite is when you had all the screens up and you were like, "This is what's going on," and I'm like,
I won't get that luxury because I'll have to be in the press box, but I will have the ability to at least dual screen my computer and have a phone kind of tracking games to tune into. So still going to be fun.
Love that. I will be. I mentioned that I will be at the big series. But
Are you
because
on the
it's a
call
Thursday-
or like are you like the two play or the color guy for?
I will be the color guy on Saturday.
Nice.
Wiley Ballard will be working with Colin.
That's Atlanta
Wiley,
Braves, right?
yep, the Braves sideline guy. He was the Georgia Tech TV guy and radio guy. He's huge. He's going to actually be on 2 calls this week and next week at North Carolina with Colin. So I'm relegated.
Back
But
down to
no,
AAA for a little bit. They're gonna send you to Gwinnett for a little while.
yep. But because it's a Thursday through Saturday, guess who get? I mean, you're talking about getting, to go to a Thursday night game, and if you didn't have football, you could have gone to 4 games. I get to go to 4 games. I'm going to be in Raleigh
Duke Carolina
for the
Duke
finale
Carolina,
of
Duke State.
Duke State, and that should be a lot of fun.
Man, love that.
So, and I get 4 games next week too, because the Virginia Clemson series is a Thursday.
Oh yeah, it's
Saturday.
Thursday, Saturday. You're right. Look at you, big time over here, Monty.
So, yep, I got 9 games in like the next 10 days or so. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Life, kid.
Hey, that's what dreams are made of. But that's gonna do it for us. Until next week, it just means less. You're clicking the button, Micah.
I am, aren't I? Hold on, I gotta get my fire thing.
Yeah, I'm in a comfortable armchair, so I can't click the button.